Staring into my eyes is ill-advised. I can't promise you'll like what you see.
Emily! Chef Xian wants to talk to you and the Traveler about our plans for the Night Watch.
Thank you, Kale. But first, here. I prepared a kind of herbal tea that helps calm the spirit. Why don't you have some?
Oh, that's very kind of you. But I'm okay.
Oh, it's not good to be so tense, especially when we've got a long night ahead of us. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I couldn't help but notice that something seems to be on your mind.
Was it that obvious?
You seem very preoccupied with Kiria's revenge. If there's anything you want to talk about, I'm...
Oh, Hey, Emily! Kale! Oh, are we interrupting something? No, not at all. This will be easier to talk through with you here anyway. I've just been thinking. If Kiria has the capacity to commit murder while remaining completely undetected, why didn't he target Sylvain along with Lucien last night? There was just a single door separating them. If his intention was to target both brothers, then there was barely anything standing in his way. Don't you think? When I accompanied Sylvain to his room after Lucien died, and saw how distraught he was, I suddenly realized maybe Kiria did that on purpose. Maybe he wanted Sylvain to experience the pain of losing a loved one before he completed his ultimate revenge.
So did he attack Edgar as a warning then? To scare Sylvain and Lucien?
Based on what we've heard about Kiria, that may very well be the case.
Losing his sister all those years ago. What has been going through his head? What has he been forced to endure? Whenever I get to thinking like that, I just can't help but wonder. If I were in his place, would I be able to let go of that hatred? I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't think like that. Not after everything he's done. But I just can't help it.
There's nothing wrong with the way you're feeling. Empathy is a part of human nature. In all my years of cleaning up crime scenes, I've witnessed countless families mourn their loved ones. Their cries of devastation and anger still echo through my mind. Some of them even try to stop me, begging me not to erase the last remnants of their loved ones. But getting swept up in those emotions will corrupt your judgment. Surround yourself with fragrance for too long, and your sense of smell will become dull. Allow yourself to be consumed by your emotions, and you lose the ability to think rationally. So while you hold on to that sense of empathy, you also need to ask yourself, do Sylvain and Lucien really deserve to die? how much did they truly know about the Fatui and the delusion? Did they force Yelena to make those decisions? Answering those questions requires a lot of time and evidence, while a single act of vengeance can put those answers forever out of our reach. I've witnessed a lot of deaths in Fontaine. When someone dies, a certain amount of information can be inferred from the traces left behind at the scene. But generally speaking, death will just leave most questions unanswered, and the whole picture ever incomplete.
Once you're consumed by hatred, it will become next to impossible to think about things that way. For someone like Kyria, I'm sure right and wrong lost all meaning a long time ago.
You're right. The fact that we can approach these questions from this perspective isn't because we're more rational than them. It's because we're fortunate enough not to have suffered that kind of loss. But that also makes us perfectly positioned to stand on the outside and try to pull them back from the brink before it's too late. I understand Kyria's decision, but I still want to stop him. Master, Sylvain, and Kyria. They all deserve to survive.
Huh. The fortunate and the unfortunate.
Emily, Traveler. Huh? Edgar, you're here too?
Oh, it's you two! Didn't you head back to your room to rest, Edgar? Is it really okay for you to be out and about like this?
A little exercise never hurt anyone. Besides, I don't have much time left in Sumeru. So I'd like to take care of my plants while I still can.
We could do that for you, Master.
No need. I've grown attached to these flowers, and this is my last chance to say goodbye. Come tomorrow. I'll be happy to entrust their care to you. I would imagine Sheriff Sham is here for a more important reason.
The Night Watch! You mentioned earlier that we still need to confirm our plans.
That's right. I've stationed some of my men around the surrounding area, but we still don't have anyone standing guard next to Sylvain's room. Exactly. After some discussion, we concluded that Sylvain has the highest risk of being attacked next. You're the most skilled fighter here, Traveler, and Emily's expertise is sure to come in handy in a pinch. That's why I want you two stationed next to Sylvain's room. So, are you up for it?
Sounds perfectly reasonable. I'll be glad to have your help tonight, Traveler.
Not a peep. Has Kyria given up on his revenge? Guess we'll have to keep at it. Still nothing unusual. Paimon took a peek into the room next door and Sylvain's already sleeping.
Perhaps Kyria's true motive was simply forcing Sylvain to confess his crime. No, that can't be right. If all he wanted was for Sylvain to be convicted for his true crimes, he could have tipped off the Marechaussee Phantom years ago. There must be something we're missing. Something extremely important.
Maybe we just need to calm down a little. How about some tea? That herbal blend from earlier was pretty tasty. You're right. Maybe we can look for a different distraction then, like looking at the flowers. Oh, there's a glaze lily here. Paimon didn't notice it earlier.
Flowers, glaze lilies, incense. Oh no! Sylvain's room! Quick!
Wait, what?
Did you hear? Someone was attacked again last night.
It was the older of the merchant brothers, right?
Yeah, I think his name was Sylvain. Poor guy was murdered in cold blood.
First it was Mr. Edgar, then that merchant named Lucian, and now this.
Listen up, everyone. This is an active crime scene. Please, no loitering.
It's been 3 days and they haven't even caught a glimpse of the guy. What is going on?
Do you think it could be the work of an evil spirit? I mean, how do you get away with something like that with so many people watching?
Keep it moving, everyone. No loitering.
I suppose I'm next.
You don't know that. Kyria already attacked you once, and you survived. Perhaps he doesn't consider your crime to be worthy of death.
You were the only reason I managed to survive, Emily. I never did thank you for that, did I?
Even if I wasn't there, Tainari was also in the vicinity. He would have been able to help.
Is that so? I suppose I'm a very fortunate person then. I have exceptional students, caring friends, and the respect of my peers. If it is indeed my time to go, then I'll die without regrets. But Kyria has nothing. Yelena is gone. Now his enemies are too. It really makes you wonder if there's even a reason to keep on living.
If you really want an answer, I suppose you'll have to ask Kyria himself, once we finally catch him.
Well, I hope it all goes well. Emily, there's something else I'd like to ask of you. With everything that's happened, holding the exhibition is off the table now, but so many flowers were transported here for the show, some of them thousands of miles away from their homeland. I can't let them wither away with no one to care for them. Whether Kyria gets to me first, or I'm sent back to Fontaine to stand trial, I won't be around till I know it's a lot to ask. But could I entrust them to your care?
Of course, Master.
Really? Oh, I'm glad to hear it. Now I truly have nothing to worry about.
Sheriff Sham still has some questions for me, so I've gotta go.
Go ahead. Best not to keep him waiting. He can be quite impatient.
I'm sorry, Master.
Another all-nighter. Emily still isn't back. I hope she didn't run into any trouble. Yeah, that's true.
Traveler, I had my men start spreading the information you requested. The crowd is gone now too, but I have to admit, I'm not really sure what's going on. After listening to Emily's plan, I started getting the materials together and arranging personnel. I barely had a second to spare last night. To be honest, I'm still not sure how the crime was committed that night.
The key clue was right in front of us the entire time! Let's go! We'll show you where the culprit hid a goose! this incense originally in Lucian's room? It must have been moved here before nightfall yesterday.
I only have a basic idea of what happened, to be honest. I haven't really worked out the details.
Ah, so you're saying I'm the only one who's completely in the dark.
This is it!
The glazed lily, huh? I think I've heard of it before. It's a flower from Liyue, right?
Well, did you know it only blooms at night?
Emily, you're back!
Exactly as expected.
A flower that only blooms at night. Ah, like the Neelatpala lotus.
Exactly. Although the Neelatpala lotus wouldn't be a good substitute in this scenario. When it's closed, the gaps between the petals are too large. That's why Kiria chose the glaze lily as his mechanism. He would start by preparing an Agus sample.
There's a sticky substance on the edge of the flower petals. It's one I recognize. If you stick the petals together with slime condensate, then, in the daytime, the glaze lily would act almost like a hidden container. If poured into the flower pot, the liquid would seep into the soil. That might prevent the substance from taking effect. If applied to the outside, you would still be able to smell a goose, even in the daytime.
That's right! He applied a diluted form of slime condensate to the petals to stick them together and enclosed a sample of Agus in the center. That way, the Agus would remain trapped inside during the daytime, unable to seep between the petals and evaporate into the air. This also allowed the culprit to plant the poison well in advance, while his targets remained oblivious. However, the diluted slime condensate wouldn't be viscous enough to prevent the petals of the glaze lily from opening at night. So by nightfall, the flower would bloom, thereby forcing the target to inhale the Agus trapped inside.
And Kiria could execute his revenge without having to step foot inside the room during the night.
By the next morning, the sample of Agus would have nearly fully evaporated. The glaze lily would have already closed its petals, and any lingering odor would be concealed by the fragrance of the other flowers in the room.
Wait a second. You're telling me this version of a goose is so toxic, inhaling the minute amount trapped inside a flower is enough to kill a grown man? And how did Edgar even survive ingesting a whole bottle of the stuff?
That's because Agus is just as dangerous now as it was all those years ago. The level of toxicity has never changed. Only a small subset of people are truly at risk.
Ah, you mean people who are sensitive to elemental energy. So it's just some sort of happy coincidence that Sylvain and Lucien are allergic to the stuff? That can't be right. They were involved in the operation all those years ago. If the stuff gave them a bad reaction, they would have known from the very start.
I wouldn't use the word allergic necessarily. It's more like they're susceptible to its effects. But that distinction isn't important right now. You can think of it this way. It's not that Sylvain and Lucien are innately sensitive to elemental energy, but that Kiria found a way to ensure that they would be.
The incense I smelled earlier seemed familiar. Thinking back on it, I'm almost certain it was the scent of Spirit Borneal. In Sumeru, scholars use spirit borneal to aid meditation and stimulate their connection to the dendron.
Alchemically produced essential oils, the primordial seawater that caused unrest in Fontaine not too long ago. All of those are substances that can heighten your sensitivity to elemental energy.
That stuff gave us a lot of trouble when we first came to Sumeru.
Ah, yes. I definitely remember that.
In Sumeru, it's not uncommon to use incense indoors, so its presence wouldn't arouse suspicion. The flowers in the room could also serve to mask the scent.
Flowers were pretty important to this plan, huh? The glazed lily is native to Liyue. It would be completely unnatural to have one here in Sumeru if it weren't for the exhibition. What a coincidence.
Actually, it's not a coincidence at all.
No wonder he was willing to pay a small fortune to rent out the hotel.
He probably used the mora Yelena left him, don't you think? That money was supposed to set him free. But in the end, it was just a tool for his revenge.
There's a saying among forensic doctors in Fontaine. Every step you take leaves a mark. But up until this point, we haven't been able to detect any trace of Kiria's activities. That's not because he was coming and going undetected, or because he's some kind of evil spirit, but because he's been disguised as someone else this entire time.
Creating such an intricate mechanism out of a glaze lily. Setting up the spirit borneal in advance. And arranging for Sylvain and Lucien to stay at the hotel. It all points to one person. The expert in charge of the entire exhibition. Kiria and Edgar are one and the same. The Mora spent to rent out the hotel, the way the Auguste flower was cultivated, the method used to disguise his appearance, it all points to one person. The boy who inherited Yelena's legacy, her younger brother.
But Kiria was only in his teens back then. He wouldn't even be 40 years old by now. Edgar's lived here for so many years. Even if he changed his appearance, going that long without giving anything away, it would be impossible.
Bad news, Sheriff! Mr. Edgar was attacked!
What?
A dark shadow-like figure just ran out of his room. It was giving off a really ominous aura. But before we could even react, the figure up and disappeared like some sort of ghost or something. By the time we got a look inside the room, Mr. Edgar was gone. Do you think Kiria kidnapped him?
I need you to think very carefully about this. Are you certain that figure wasn't Edgar himself?
I mean, Mr. Edgar was so frail. I don't see how he could have moved that fast.
It would seem Master decided to tap into an ill-advised source of power.
What? But that's so dangerous with the condition he's in.
But why? Why would he do that? He's already accomplished his revenge.
No. If his aim was to target everyone who had a hand in Yelena's death,
If he left Sylvain alive yesterday, not out of a desire to see him suffer, but to confirm the truth about why Yelena chose to die,
then there's still one target left.
Sí.
The shadow-like figure ran in the direction of the elevator, and my partner immediately chased after them.
We should hurry before they're forced to confront each other.
Where in the world did he go? Let's ask the merchants nearby.
shadow-like figure with an ominous aura. Sorry, I didn't see anything. I was busy taking inventory.
Ghost! It's a ghost!
It's all right. Please, calm down and take a deep breath. Can you tell us what you saw?
I saw a black shadow. It ran right past me. How could something like that happen in broad daylight?
This is terrifying.
If we go any further, we'll be out of Port Ormos. There'll be hardly any witnesses.
It's all right. I can detect a faint whiff of the scent from here. I would say he passed by this location not too long ago. It's this way. Please, follow me.
Transfixed.
The scent is getting stronger. This must be the place.
Nice and spicy. Dissipate.
An impressive bounty.
Time to broaden the horizons again.
Oh! O's! Are you all right? Were you attacked?
No, I'm all right. I was just chasing after that figure, and then all of a sudden, I didn't feel.
Let me take a look.
The air definitely feels heavy. It smells nice, but for some reason,
This feeling. I've encountered it before.
Everything looks all right. It was probably just the stress of the chase, combined with the impact of the environment.
I can't rest. Mr. Edgar is still in there. He taught my sister. He's a good man. I can't just abandon him to die by curious.
O's, you need to calm down and listen to me. Edgar is the one we're after. He and Kyria are the same person.
But how is that possible? I thought you said Kyria was in his 30s. Mr. Edgar is 70-something. Changing your appearance to look decades older, that doesn't seem possible.
That's precisely why he had to resort to Kyria used a delusion to bring back the Auguste flower, corroding his body in the process, just like his older sister.
No, He couldn't have. Mr. Edgar has been in Port Ormos for years. If someone started impersonating him all of a sudden, we would have noticed.
And what if the impersonation started before he ever set foot in Sumeru? I've yet to confirm it, but I suspect Kyria killed the real Edgar Fontaine not long after his release from prison. While Edgar was incarcerated, Kyria started making preparations to replace him, including forcefully aging his body, studying perfumery, and planning the real Edgar's demise. The new Edgar then decided to relocate to Sumeru, seemingly out of an innocuous desire to let go of the past. He even left perfume making in favor of mentoring students. But these decisions were all for a specific purpose: the need to distance himself from anyone who might see through the facade. And Sumeru fit the bill to a T, with no one around to question his identity. All he had to do was grow a beard, don a pair of glasses, make a few minor alterations. As the years went by, he removed his disguise little by little and continued to refine his skills. It would have been a gradual process, one that ensured no one around him would notice anything unusual.
That explains why Sylvain said he barely recognized Edgar back at the hotel. He aged himself decades beyond his years just so he could accomplish his revenge. Is that even worth it?
I need to find Mr. Edgar. He's not that kind of person. He can't be.
What you really need is to get out of here and rest.
No, I can keep...
Wait! This environment is likely being influenced by the delusion. Any discomfort, no matter how slight, should not be treated lightly. I know how to relieve your symptoms, Mr. Ooze. Please come with me and rest. I'm sure Kyria... No, Edgar wouldn't want any more innocent people implicated in all this.
Kale's right. The Traveler and I will take things from here. From our brief exposure to a goose, it would seem the substance has little effect on us. This leads me to believe those blessed with a vision or capable of wielding elemental power are more resistant to the effects of abnormal elemental energy. In other words, this environment doesn't pose as much of a risk to us. Actually, now that I think about it, this stronghold likely has multiple points of entry. If the target were to escape from a different point of entry, that might allow him to evade capture. I hate to trouble you, but we need people to survey the perimeter.
Thanks. Hear that? We're heading out. There's work to be done. Ooze, head back to Port Ormos and start gathering reinforcements.
Got it.
Traveler, Emily, Paimon, please be careful. For someone whose only purpose in life is revenge, there's no telling what they'll do when there's no reason to move forward.
Don't worry. This isn't the end. Not for us or for Kyria. We're not going to let a goose kill anyone else. It's time for the mythos to fade into obscurity. Monsters. Perhaps they were attracted here by the increased level of elemental energy. Extract! I've never seen these seeds before. They must also have been created with the power of a delusion. It seems to be avoiding us, and there's no other way forward. Perhaps we could try luring it to the edge of the cliff.
Race you!
person did all this? Must have taken a lot of time.
I fear that statement is truer than you know, Paimon. Using a delusion comes at a cost. Not just time, but the time you have left to live.
But why would Kiria need this many Auguste flowers? He only needed a few bottles of Auguste to carry out his plan, right?
Perhaps hatred wasn't the only emotion fueling his obsession with Auguste. Not long ago, he told me he didn't want all the flowers transported to Sumeru to wither away in a foreign land. But Kiria betrayed Snezhnaya, abandoned Fontaine, and lived his entire life in Sumeru under the guise of someone else. For someone with nowhere to call home, perhaps dying among a bed of Auguste flowers just like his sister is the best homecoming he could ask for.
Laid bare.
Hey,
Let's light it up! I'm going in! Fresh and floral! A plant that destroys seeds. Huh, quite the ecological marvel. Let's head back to the place where the seeds first appeared. The scent of flowers is getting stronger. We're almost at the end. The scent of flowers is getting stronger. We're almost at the end.
Did they catch up that fast? No, my strength is just waning. But it doesn't matter. This is far enough.
This is a garden of Auguste flowers. But it's not mine. It's the one that was set on fire all those years ago in Fontaine. Yelena? Yelena! You tried to hide it from me, but I always understood. The reason why you continued to use the delusion, the reason why you set your garden on fire, it was all because of me. I shouldn't have listened to you that day. I shouldn't have taken the Mora and ran. But by the time I realized something wasn't right, there was nothing left. The flowers were gone. And so were you. I know I'm almost 20 years too late. I should have come looking for you earlier. I should have died with you that day. Yelena? Yelena! No! Don't leave me! Please! Yelena!
Emily? I'm alive. No, that's not possible. I saw her. Yelena, we were together.
That was an illusion, likely brought about by the residual toxin in your body coupled with the pollen in the air, neither of which are fatal.
No, the amount of August I drank, it should have been enough. A fake? But how?
We started making the preparations last night with one goal in mind: to create a perfect accord. The accord is the basis of perfume making, the product in its most primitive
form. Ambergris mixed with cedarwood, rounded out with a base note of agarwood.
This is the scent of leather?
Exactly. We're unable to extract essential oils from leather, but by combining other raw materials, we can recreate its essence. That is the purpose of an accord.
Does that mean you can recreate any scent in the whole world?
I'm afraid not. Certain fragrances in this world are simply one of a kind. That quality is what draws people in and fuels their obsessions.
If I wear a goose to the ball, I'll also be one of a kind.
Our competitor already got their hands on it.
It doesn't matter how much it costs. I have to buy something better.
This fragrance will be one of a kind, no more. Myths can be deconstructed, miracles can be recreated. All it takes is skill, experience, limitless exploration, and a little patience. The only thing left is determining where the real Auguste is hidden. Pretending to be attacked means he's not free to move around. Auguste must be hidden within reach.
Paimon took a peek through the window earlier and his house was packed with flowers.
The curator commissioned a flower pot from Kasharawar capable of retaining heat and moisture.
Perfumes are as beautiful as flowers, and equally as delicate. When stored, you must take care to control the temperature and keep them away from direct sunlight. Did you get all that, Emily?
I got it.
Did you hear? Someone was attacked again last night.
So, Sylvain is dead. Is that right?
Yes, Master.
So, you switched the bottles of Auguste, and then lied to me about Sylvain's death.
Convincing you that your revenge had been completed was the easiest way to get you to let down your guard.
Impossible. Even if you found a way to switch out the bottles, there's no way you could have made an accord. If Auguste was so easy to replicate, Yelena wouldn't have.
It was a combination of rainbow roses, glaze lilies, and Cecilias. Those ingredients would have conflicted with each other if you tried to combine them in the past. But recently, we found a way for them to work together.
Rainbow roses, glaze lilies, and Cecilias.
Auguste was created over 10 years ago. All this time, people never stopped analyzing it, never stopped trying to recreate it. Perfumery techniques are advancing day by day. We've found better ways to extract essential oils, separate oils and fats. We even discovered new ways to combine fragrances together. The mythos surrounding Auguste may have been untouchable almost 20 years ago, but now it's time for it to become a thing of the past.
The past?
You've been working as a perfumer for all these years. You should have always known that it is possible to make an accord, even if only in theory. But the meaning you assigned to Auguste became so inflated, you allowed yourself to get lost in it. Just like the perfume mania that captivated the public all those years ago. You believed in its divinity and grandeur. You believed it was entirely one of a kind. Your obsession with Auguste is also what allowed us to predict how you intended your plan to end, and to make preparations in advance.
We just didn't expect it to happen so fast.
Well, you hit the nail on the head now, didn't you? So, Sylvain isn't dead. Since you've been preparing your accord since last night, I assume you've also figured out my method, then. That means the news of Sylvain's death. The crowd gathered outside the hotel this morning. It was all an act you put on with the sheriff?
Yes. If we hadn't, you might have resorted to the delusion out of desperation, or continued to use your Spirit Borneal and Auguste combination to wreak havoc.
Who knows? Maybe I would have just offed myself then and there.
I know if you had things your way, you would carry the truth of Edgar's demise and the secrets of this garden to the grave, but I'm sorry, Master. I don't want to see any more death. Sylvain only inhaled a small amount of poison. All the crimes he concealed back then will be exposed in a court of law for everyone to see, and all his secrets will be revealed. The same goes for you as well.
Is that so? Well, I suppose I'll be spending the rest of my days in a prison cell then.
Whoa, he accepted that kind of fast.
I don't feel the need to justify my actions, nor do I intend to repent for them. I did what I set out to do. I may have lost in the end, but it was my choice every step of the way. And if I could do it all over again... But there's no going back.
Careful, everyone. This environment is dangerous. I'll lead the way.
Stick close and hurry up. We can't let Edgar die.
Looks like I'm almost out of time. Although, I do have one final question, Emily.
Of course, Master.
The combination you used to make your accord. How did you figure it out?
The scent of Auguste is complex and varied, yet the main ingredient consists of a single variety of flower. So, as I was analyzing the sample yesterday, I got to thinking, what if the scent of the Auguste flower was already imbued with that complexity during its cultivation?
You're saying Yelena designed Auguste to have the scent of multiple flowers?
Rainbow roses, glaze lilies, Cecilias. The perfumers of the past knew that if you combined their essential oils directly, they would just cancel each other out. It was a conundrum they could never solve. But if you cultivate a new flower species that intrinsically carries the unique features of those three scents, you can bypass that issue entirely. It goes without saying that for that time, this idea was a stroke of genius.
Rainbow roses, glaze lilies, and Cecilias. Those really do seem like flowers you would choose, Yelena.
Did you know? Miss Emily's releasing a new perfume. Right. I heard about that. I think it's called Yelena.
Seems like everyone in Fontaine is talking about the new perfume you're releasing.
I was hoping to release it without such a fuss, but the news spread way faster than I expected. I just hope it won't become the source of some new myth, especially after all the work we did to demystify Auguste. I did, although I made a few modifications to the formula to make the scent more pleasant and long-lasting. I actually brought a few samples with me today. I hope they're to your liking. Also, I was hoping you could try out the fragrance before I officially release it and tell me your thoughts.
Of course! A good sense of taste and sense of smell go hand in hand, you know? Just leave it to Paimon! Oh, it smells great!
It's alright. All feedback is worth considering. Besides, when it comes to perfume, commenting on whether it smells good is the most straightforward assessment you can ask for. There doesn't always have to be a deeper meaning.
Right! Do those flowers have some special meaning? Hearing their names seemed to have an effect on him.
If I had to guess, I'd say it probably has something to do with the language of flowers.
The language of flowers? Oh, we've heard of that before! Paimon remembers hearing something like, the Cecilia represents the true feelings of the prodigal.
What each flower is said to represent varies by person and across different moments in history. The same is true for the flowers that make up the scent of Auguste. After returning to Fontaine, I did some research, and it turns out the meanings of those 3 flowers can be reassembled to form a single phrase. Forget the past and keep on living. Perhaps that's the legacy Yelena always intended, not the nobility and grandeur most people associate with Auguste.
You think Kiria knew about that?
I paid him a visit before his trial and explained what I found, but he didn't seem to care. Who knows? Maybe she didn't mean anything by it at all. That was his response. Yelena is gone. We'll never know what she was thinking. We can look for meaning all we want, but it'll never be anything but conjecture. Even if that is what she was trying to say, I would never be able to forget her. Avenging her death? That was the meaning I chose for my life. Kiria cultivated his revenge like a flower. He was committed to making it bloom, even if in the end, it didn't bear the fruit he was hoping for. In any case, he did want me to pass along his thanks. Thank you for saving my life. For giving me the chance to learn that Auguste could have carried a very different meaning. Love and hatred are a privilege of the living. When someone dies, their thoughts, feelings, and intentions die with them. In that sense, what Auguste truly represents in the language of flowers will forever remain a mystery. But even if it's only a conjecture, I would like to believe my own interpretation. The meaning we give to flowers, the symbolism we assign to our perfumes, they're constantly twisted and exploited in our imperfect world. And yet, at the very outset, they're born from the simplest and most beautiful desires we hold in our heart.
Let's get it.
Ad Astra. Thank you for complete.
tiny. Hmm.
I see everything. Help!
Teamwork is dreamwork!
Something's hiding behind that statue! Aw, it's a baby Ectomisaur! So cute! Although, why is it staring at us? Traveler! How long was Paimon out? Paimon locked eyes with that baby Ectomisaur for like a second, and then she was suddenly pulled into this strange place with a huge Ectomisaur. Any idea what happened? Traveler? Hey, what's wrong? Look, it's that baby Ectomisaur. Seems like it wants us to follow it. Paimon's adventurous side says we have to see where this leads. Check it out! The graffiti on the wall is glowing! Masters of the Night Wind. And by the looks of it, Masters of Nightlife, too.
Who's our target this time?
Housing. Get the fuck. Oh, yeah.
Something you wish to report? Oh, you have my undivided attention.
Okay, orange. So yellow.
Off we go! Adventure time! Off we go! Adventure time! Off we go! Adventure time! Off we go!
rame. Agak keren. Quest
All right, let's finish this fast.
Transfixed.
Let's light it up. Everybody stand back.
Things are about to get dicey. Something with which to commemorate this occasion.
what she's doing!
I brought all the stuff over, Coach. What's next?
All right, I'll start by moving the boxes over.
I'll help you. These things can get pretty heavy.
Nah, I got this. These muscles aren't just for show, you know. You see that? Perfect.
Fine, as long as you don't wind up too sore to move tomorrow. I don't want to hear any complaints.
Just prepare to be amazed. My back. I knew I should have trained harder.
Anson! We were just about to ask you the same thing! We didn't expect to run into you in these. Of course! We're also here to help. Let's go see the chief!
You're here, Eon-san. And you must be the traveler in Paimon. I've heard a lot about you. I'm sure we'll have a much better time now with your help.
Cold. So cold. Duarte, are you there? I'm drowning, and there's something in the water!
He's on the ground, but it almost looks like he's trying to swim.
The abyss. The abyss is coming. There are eyes in my hands, and hands in my stomach. And my stomach is full of teeth. It ate all of you. It's coming for me, too.
But we haven't been eaten. We're right here.
Huh. Monstrous beasts! How did you get in here?
As you can see, their mental state is quite poor. They went missing after the battle. We found them in the wilderness in the days that followed, but the damage had already been done. We found them unconscious in areas corrupted by abyssal tumors, lying next to their deceased comrades. My only guess is that something terrible must have happened during the battle. According to the chief of the Masters of the Nightwind, sudden exposure to a large amount of abyssal power can have mental as well as physical repercussions. We've never seen the effects this heightened before, but maybe Gasoithoth was just too powerful.
Gasoithoth? What's that?
It's the abyssal monster that appeared in the sky not too long ago.
After consulting our ancient legends, we decided to call it Gasoithoth, Reaper of the Abyss.
Oh, that giant black ball? Didn't we force it to retreat, though?
True, it poses no threat to us now, but whatever wound it inflicted on these warriors still endures. We scoured all sorts of records for a solution, but nothing came of it. There was some mention of a treatment from several hundred years ago, but that knowledge is long gone.
Right! You can purify abyssal power! Might as well give it a try! It didn't work?
That must mean purifying the abyssal power within them still isn't enough. In any case, thank you for trying.
So, what can we do now? You don't tell me my friend is just gonna be like this forever?
Come back to me, Gogeta! Please, don't leave me like this!
We beat Gasoithoth! They survived the battle! Are we really just gonna sit back and watch them lose their minds?
What is it, Aeon-san?
But,
Are you sure about this?
So dark, so cold. I want to go home.
Huh?
Light. Underwater. Where is it coming from?
It's working!
Is someone there? Please save me. No. No, wait. You have to leave this place. The water's too deep. You won't make it. No. Please. Just leave me, Duarte.
Oh no, it's not working anymore!
my friend. Is he any better? Duarte. Oh, yeah, I remember. Duarte was the name of Otoko's Surian companion. Otoko almost drowned as a child, and Duarte was the one who saved him. He dove deep into the water and used all his strength to carry Otoko back to the surface. It was pretty touch and go, but both of them made it in the end. Well, you see, Duarte died 4 years ago during an Abyss invasion. He was helping evacuate injured warriors from the front lines, but fell to an ambush. He was a bit on the smaller side, but other than that, he was just your average cuckoo. Well, hold on. What are you planning? No problem. Thank you for looking at...
We're back! How are you feeling?
Duarte? How did you get here?
It's working!
That hurt. Duarte, you have to get out of here. There's something in the water. You're gonna carry me out of here just like last time. Over a decade later, and you're still trying to save me. I can't believe you made it this deep underwater, but I'm so glad you found me. Once we're out of here, let's split a huge portion of blazed meat stew. Just like old times. I owe you for this. We're almost at the surface. People tried to tell me you were dead, you know. As if I'd let that happen. I promised to protect you. There's no way. No. Wait. I failed. Duarte? Wait, you're not Duarte. How did I get here? Who are you people?
Otoko!
He's Kaylee. What's going on? All I remember is the battle against the Abyss, and then I was drowning. And a Saurian that... You went through all that for me? While all I did was cause trouble for everyone? I'm so sorry. Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's no use. It'll just come back. Nothing can stop it. Nothing can stop the abyss. It will devour everyone. One day, we'll all be reunited in the pit of its stomach.
Maybe it's just Paimon, but she seems to be in even worse shape than Otoko. She can talk to us, but nothing she says makes any sense. She also seems really afraid.
Ion-san, I heard you cured Otoko? I'm so relieved. Is there anything I can do to help? If you need extra hands... I think you're onto something. The mental distress does seem to be connected to pre-existing fears and anxiety. Kochita doesn't like it when people talk about her past. But the situation is urgent. So, I guess I'll be the bad guy. Ion-san, do you believe there are people in this world destined for battle? Then, what about people destined to be unfit for battle? When Kochita was little, her parents died fighting the Abyss. She was only 11 or 12 at the time, and her brother, even younger still. The two saw their parents collapse in a pool of blood as flames roared and spread all around them. Kochita trained hard to become a warrior, but still found fighting Abyss monsters too difficult to handle. She and her brother were left with severe trauma after the incident. Pain and fear that they could not get over no matter what.
But isn't Kochita one of the warriors who fought the Abyss? Didn't you find her unconscious out on the field?
Yes, we did. You see, something changed within her several years ago when the Abyss attacked our tribe and broke into her home. By the time the guards rushed to the scene, they found her standing there, weapon outstretched, hands trembling. Her brother huddling behind her for safety, and the Abyss monster dead at her feet. She didn't even look at it, and just kept repeating the same thing over and over. You're the only family I have left. I won't let anything happen to you. She became a completely different person after that. She earned a reputation as a very capable warrior, and fought countless battles against the Abyss. We all thought she overcame the trauma, and we were so happy for her. But now it seems like even if she buried it deep within herself, the fear still never left her.
How can we help her?
Quali?
Quali, what are you doing with that weapon?
Show me the monster that hurt you! I'll make it pay! I'm going to protect you this time!
Calm down, Quali. That monster is already...
I can do it! I don't care what it takes! I just want her to get better. She's the only family I have left.
Family? If Quali goes to battle, the Abyss will devour him. I can't let that happen. I have to do something. But it's useless. No one can beat the Abyss. It's a death sentence. Just like what happened to Mom and Dad. But I'm no warrior. I'm just a coward. Still, I have to protect Quali. What should I do?
Kochita.
Fight it. One more time?
Try checking the mountains to the north. A few fled in that direction after the battle. I dispatched a team to clear them out, so most of them should be gone. But there might still be a few stragglers.
There's no turning back. I have to face it, even if it will devour me whole.
I'm coming too! I'm not letting my sister face this alone! Not anymore!
You were the ones who killed them! As a kid, I thought my parents were invincible. They were always so strong and gentle. They seemed like the most powerful people in the world, but I can still see the image of them collapsed at my feet that night. The raging fire, the smoke, the smell of blood, the sound of my brother's cries. It's all burned into my brain. They told me to run, and I could see the fear in their eyes. I've been running from my fears ever since. But why didn't my parents run? It must have been because...
You can do it!
Because of our family. When you have someone to protect, there's no backing down. No matter what.
Stay away from my brother!
Let's help her out!
Going in!
Busted. Here comes the catch.
I can do this. I have to do this.
Go away!
Where are the rest? Where are they hiding? That's impossible. They were gigantic beasts crawling with eyes, ready to... No. Wait. What am I saying? Abyss monsters are not actually that scary. I've defeated them before.
She's back to normal!
Kuchita!
What just happened? That is quite embarrassing. Sorry about that. I've always envied warriors who don't get scared or feel lost. It really felt like I was getting stronger over the years. But in the end, maybe I never made any progress at all.
Even though we're both scared of monsters, you were always the one who stepped up to protect me. But not anymore. I'm going to get stronger. From now on, we're in this together!
Is that so? Then I'll look forward to the day when you'll be all big and formidable. I finally feel like myself again. I couldn't have done it without you all. Thank you for everything. I think I'll rest here for a bit. I don't think I can make it back to the tribe just yet.
I'll keep you company.
Atoko's all better. Did you hear?
Really?
Yes, really. It's all thanks to the Traveler and Eons.
I see. I was wondering why the Traveler was chosen to accompany the Pyro Archon in the final battle. But I guess he really can do the impossible. So all those rumors about the trap...
Kochide's getting better, too!
Yeah, honestly, Paimon was at a complete loss when she saw so many sick people in the hot air balloon. We only found a solution this time because you kept your cool and took control of the situation. You deserve most of the credit. Whoa, you're right. That makes a lot of sense. That sounds like something Paimon could do, but would that really change anything? Oh, well, when you put it that way, Paimon's almost encouraged to start drinking kale juice tomorrow. No, today. Paimon will start today. You're amazing, Eon-san. You really make Paimon feel like she can do the impossible. Maybe your true strength is giving other people strength.
Eon-san! Bad news! Okoland is out of control! What are you doing, Okoland? Wake up!
Don't you recognize us, my boy?
The Abyss monsters are everywhere. Everywhere. They've taken over the tribe. No corner is safe. Did we lose the battle? No. It's pointless to think about that now. A warrior only has one job. Fight until the very end. Careful! He's not himself!
Okotlan!
So, he thinks we're Hey, it's okay! We're not the bad guys!
Come on! Give me your worst!
Busted.
Wretched Abyss! Get out of my tribe! Mom, Dad,
Please, son. You've got to stop. You can't keep going like this.
wretched monsters! Give me my family back! Look, Okoland! That's your father! He's standing right in front of you! Get out of my home! I'll never forgive you!
Are you alright, sir?
I'm fine. Please, don't hurt my son. He's just trying to protect his home.
But what should we do now? He's different from the other two. It's like he can't hear us at all. He keeps calling us monsters. We're basically enemies to him now.
Oh, Coatlan.
Abyssal corrosion syndrome. 500 years later, and it's resurfaced again.
Huh? That voice, it's...
Direct contact with high concentrations of abyssal power causes irreversible mental trauma in most people. The exact presentation will vary according to trauma level. Some will suffer from superficial hallucinations and maintain the capacity to perceive the outside world. In such cases, verbal and physical interaction can be used to break through the hallucination. However, there are also those who are so far gone, entrenched in hallucinations so deep, that medical intervention is the only option. That's why we developed the Drought of Lucidity.
The draft of lucidity?
It's a kind of medicine that can dispel the psychological impact of the Abyss. The treatment comes with severe side effects, including chronic migraines for the rest of the patient's life. So, it's reserved for the worst cases. This man is a devoted warrior, one not easily swayed from battle. That is precisely why it's so difficult to pull him out of this hallucination. If you trust me to be true to my word, give him this.
Wretched monsters! Setting up an ambush! Give me your worst! It's either your end or mine! Hurry! He's awake!
Please, give him the draft. My son thinks he's alone in this world. In his mind, all his family and comrades are gone, and only enemies remain. There's nothing more painful for a warrior than losing everything you fought so hard to protect.
Monsters! What's going on? Dad? What are you doing here? My head hurts. I just had the strangest dream. I dreamt the Abyss took over the tribe.
It's all right, my boy. It was just a nightmare. Let's go home. You need a good night's sleep. But first, I want to thank you for saving my son. May I ask your name?
Just Capitano is fine.
I owe you more than words can say, Mr. Capitano. My name is Mune. You're welcome in my home anytime. Time to go, son. Can you stand?
Thank goodness everything turned out all right.
Think nothing of it. I agreed to offer you my aid, so this is merely a part of that duty. Besides, I care deeply about this land.
Right! When we were with Moika, you told us you and your soldiers defended Natlan against the Abyss 500 years ago.
That's right. My desire to protect this nation remains unchanged. When my platoon arrived in Natland 500 years ago, like you, we were true Outlanders. But as time passed, I encountered the people of this land, and witnessed their desperate struggle against the Abyss. Though many of the warriors were rash and inexperienced, they were steadfast and fearless in battle, willing to do anything to protect their fellow citizens, oftentimes with complete disregard for their own survival. Just as I fought for the glory of Conria, they fought for the survival of their nation. We happened to share a common enemy, so I decided to offer my aid. We fought side by side to the very end. I traveled to many places after that, but I never forgot this land. Even now, my work in Natlan remains unfinished. It may seem difficult to understand, but the reason is really quite simple. That name carries with it the glory of my homeland and the honor of Natlan. Yet, I failed to bring my soldiers home. And I failed to help Natlan defeat the Abyss.
But that's not your fault. The Abyss is way stronger than any of us imagined.
You need not comfort me. I am no longer who I once was. Let the events of the past continue to collect dust in the annals of history. I will continue to help Natlan in my own way.
Like, with the draft of lucidity? Who knew you could make medicine? Were you a doctor before?
The drought was Guthred's invention. He was a respected military doctor, as well as my trusted second-in-command. We faced a similar situation to what you witnessed today. The endless battles against the Abyss triggered delusions among the soldiers, to the point where some attempted to kill each other. In order to develop a treatment as fast as possible, Guthred used himself as a test subject. He passed away shortly after the drought was complete. That's who he was. Unrelenting in his pursuits. No matter the cost, no matter the sacrifice. In the end, he even gave himself up for a chance at success. I'm sure he would be pleased his creation aids people, even now. The Abyss has wrought enough suffering on this land. I sincerely hope this war will end soon.
Stop worrying about other people's survival, about their losses and sacrifices. You just need to win. That must be why I've returned. For this moment. Please finish what you set out to do, Commander.
You're more perceptive than I imagined. However, some things are better kept secret for now. We may be working together, but our goals are not entirely aligned.
What's with the secrets all of a sudden? I'm starting to think we should be more careful around you.
I do not mean to jeopardize the trust between us. I simply prefer to keep this to myself, because it's a personal matter. All I can tell you is this. Natlan may have survived the worst of the crisis, but the souls of this land are still not at peace, and that is why my work is not yet done.
Well, if it's personal, then we'll just have to trust you.
If you have other questions, I'm willing to answer them.
Wait, like anything? Hana wants to know how you eat with the mask. Anything you want to ask, Traveler?
Natlan must pay the price for Mawika's use of the Ruler of Death's power. That price is death. And only Mawika's death can clear the debt. Even now that the war's over and the threat to Natlan is gone, it looks like that death is still set in stone.
In the garden cultivated by the gods, flowers and weeds grow side by side. When the weeds compete for nutrients in the soil, the gardener intervenes to inhibit their growth. I'm not one to pass judgment based on my own standard of right and wrong. But it is an undeniable fact that she is responsible for my suffering, as well as that of my people. If that explanation is too difficult to understand, allow me to show you exactly what I mean. The ruler of death can freely define the form of death, or grant immortality to anyone she desires. Her power is a rule in and of itself. Faced with such an overwhelming level of power, it can feel hopeless to resist. But I am of the belief that, in this world, no destiny is unchangeable, no death inevitable, and no rule unbreakable. So, before the final moment truly arrives, we must fight harder than ever.
Oh, did something happen?
This is a critical time for you, Traveler. It's best not to delay, so let us end our conversation for now. Best of luck to you all. Goodbye.
So in the end, the captain still... He kind of reminds Paimon of someone we met recently. Up. Kanich, Kachina, Mualani? Woo! Everyone's here!
Reunited at last. Did you miss us?
I brought candy and cookies to share. Of course we missed you. Ooh, you brought Source crackers too? Scoop!
Just in time, Traveler. It's so stifling in here. I was just about to go outside to get some air.
It's the same temperature outside. Anyway, how was the trip here?
To be honest, I also didn't expect this many people to show up. A third of this amount is more than enough for my plan. I need to ask them about you, gather their thoughts and hopes. That will help the formation of your ancient name. Oh, you brought the Pilgrim's Chronicle, right? Yeah, let me take a look. Okay. The progress looks good. We have enough people, so let's get started.
Sorry I'm late.
Shaska showing up late for something? That's a first.
I had to follow a group of monsters further than expected. When I got back, I heard about what you did for my tribe. Thank you.
Okay, let's save the pleasantries for later. Everyone's here, so let's get started. All right, let me remind everyone what's going to happen. I need each of you to stand before the Pilgrim's Chronicle and share your stories about the Traveler. Your words will be recorded and become a part of the Traveler's ancient name. Any, questions?
Nope.
All right, then, to start things off...
Hold on. Remember what we discussed?
Oh, right, I almost forgot. Traveler, Paimon, you, can't be here for this part.
Huh? But why? We want to hear what everyone has to say.
I need people's true thoughts and feelings. It's best if the subject in question isn't involved. It's much more difficult to express those feelings to someone's face. People get shy in those situations. It's just how it is.
You're right. Just like when Paimon doesn't have enough more to pay for her meal, but she's too embarrassed to tell the Traveler, so she has to make up some excuse. So basically, you want us to leave the Pilgrim's Chronicle here and wait nearby?
Oh, don't worry. This shouldn't take long.
Everything Shilonen said made sense, but did you see Lolly's reaction back there? She was definitely the one who decided we should leave. But staying out here is just making Paimon even more curious about what everyone's gonna say. Anyway, you're gonna have an ancient name soon. Ooh, that's so exciting! Feels like we've been in Natland for quite a while already, doesn't it? You're right! If only Paimon could say a few things about you in there.
Well, looks like you're about to have that chance.
Shilonen, is everything all set?
Almost. We're just missing one last thing. You've been by the Traveler's side the longest, Paimon. We need to hear what you have to say.
But Paimon's not from Natland.
Oh, it doesn't matter. As a Traveler's companion, your contributions are extremely important. You're the perfect person to finish the story. Sorry, Traveler. I just need to borrow Paimon for a second. It should be quick.
Paimon gave us a lot, whew, and I mean a lot of information. I'm not even sure the Lord of the Night managed to get all of it.
Well, we've been to 6 nations already.
Here, you can have the Pilgrim's Chronicle back. I'll need it when I forge the name, but you can continue your adventures in the meantime. And when the time comes, I will forge you an ancient name unlike anything that's come before, so that you, Moika, and Natlan as a whole can finally put an end to this endless war.
Huh? What's that sound? Oh no! Why is she crying? Should we go check on her? You know, just in case she's thinking of doing something stupid.
I'd leave her be. The warriors of the Flower Feather Clan are a proud bunch who never show their vulnerability in public, even if they've gone wingless.
Oh, Chaska?
Good to see you again, Traveler and Paimon. Before we carry on, let's get a little further away before Koyer notices us.
So, that girl on the bridge, Koyer, you said? Should she really be on her own right now? With the mental state she's in, it just seems risky.
Don't worry. That's exactly why I'm here. Elder Alpa sent me to keep an eye on her. If she does attempt the unthinkable, I'll swoop in and catch her. I doubt it'll come to that, though. She's a fighter. A warrior, in fact. One who aimed for the sky. However despondent she might feel now, I'm confident she'll get through it. Well, in the Flower Feather Clan, there's an elite flying squad made up of Kukasaur riders, but it's an extremely selective squad. To become a rider, you need to undergo a trial where you not only demonstrate mastery of the relevant skills, but also win the approval of the Kukasaurs. Very few candidates make it through. Koyer has spent years training for her most recent attempt, but unfortunately she didn't pass. So it's not hard to see why she's so upset. Sometimes, after multiple failed attempts to pass the flying tests and win the Kukasaur's approval, people get so disheartened that they give up on their dream to soar the skies. They resolve to quit trying for good. We call those people the wingless.
Do they get expelled from the tribe?
What? No, of course not. They're still prized warriors. We have a saying. Just as the Kukasaur treasures every feather on its body, so the tribe treasures each one of its children. This hits even harder in the wake of the war. All of our young warriors carry the future of our tribe on their shoulders. Besides, every Kukasaur falls from its nest before it learns to fly. It's practically a rite of passage. Likewise for the wingless, we always hold out hope that one day, when they're ready, they'll rekindle their dreams and keep trying. Until then, all we can do is quietly watch over them from a distance. Just like I'm doing now.
Ah, okay. Paimon hopes she'll get back on her feet soon.
Well, from the sound of her whistling, her confidence has been seriously shaken. No Kukasaur is going to respond to a call that sounds like that. Yeah,
People from my tribe call to their Saurian companions by whistling or blowing a horn. So it sounds like Koyer was trying to summon a Kukasaur to practice her flying. But the Kukasaurs are an even prouder bunch than our warriors. They would never respond to a lackluster whistle like that. First she failed the trial, and now she's struggling to even summon a Kukasaur. That's only gonna hurt her confidence further. And getting trapped in that vicious circle is the kind of thing that'll make people go wingless.
Surely there must be something we can do to help.
That's very kind of you. Koyer's flying skills are up to par, but mentally she's stuck in a rut. If she wants to return to the sky, she has to overcome that for herself. I'm going to lay low nearby, just in case she takes a turn for the worse. Let me give you a tour around the tribe once this is all over.
Koyer still isn't giving up. Even though Chaska said that she has to do this by herself, Paimon can't help feeling like maybe we can nudge her in the right direction. What if we could get a Kukusaur to fly up to her? That might give her the confidence boost she needs.
It's a Kukasaur! Oh my gosh! Is this really happening? I did it! I summoned one! I was beginning to think you'd all given up on me completely. Excuse me? Would you mind if we did some flying practice together? Right now? I think I know where I went wrong in the test now. I need to maintain a higher speed on my turns. So, I just gotta practice my bell tail slides and split S maneuvers. Also, I really want to try some stall turns and cobra maneuvers. Huh? That sounded like a whistle. Is someone else trying to summon a Kukasaur? Hey! Wait! Wait!
Do you think Koyer's feeling better now? Let's go back to that bridge and check.
Chaska! I summoned a Kukasaur! They do still respond to me after all! Although, unfortunately, someone else summoned it away again before I had a chance to go for a flight.
Oh, really? That is unfortunate. But if you can do it once, you can do it again. Keep at it, and you'll pass the trial of...
You're right! You know, I almost thought about giving up, but I'm glad I didn't.
Hey, Chaska, how's Koyer doing?
Huh? Who are you? And how do you...
These are my, friends. The Traveler and... You came up in conversation the other day because I was telling them about up-and-coming warriors in our tribe.
Oh, the Traveler, huh? So that's you. What do you mean up and coming? I'm closer. Anyway, we haven't met before, have we? You look so.
Maybe you saw him in the stadium? Or anywhere, really. He's been all over Natlan lately, so it's not surprising that you've seen him around.
If you say so. Goyer, Chaska.
Here you are. I've been looking everywhere for you two.
Oh, Elder Alpa! What's the
I thought I should tell you myself. We're going to redo the flying trials.
Redo them? How come? This is so unexpected. And I can't believe you came out here just to tell us that in person.
It's embarrassing to admit, but due to time constraints, we didn't do a proper inspection of the arena before the last round of trials began. Then we started to notice many candidates performing worse than expected. So we redid the inspection afterwards and found a number of issues which likely impacted candidate performance. This was entirely our mistake, and I apologize unreservedly. I know it doesn't make up for it, but I thought bringing you this message in person was the least—
Oh, okay.
Chaska, these people you're with, are they the Traveler and Paimon?
Huh? You've heard of us?
I have indeed. Gathering intel is an essential part of being a warrior. Plus, you've already made quite a name for yourself in Natlan. Actually, I've been meaning to invite you to enjoy our tribe's hospitality.
Hospitality? That includes food, right?
Of course it does. If you let us host you, you'll be treated quite lavishly. Mighty warriors are highly revered in our tribe. Besides, we still owe you for your help during the war. Without you, we would have suffered far worse at the hands of the Abyss. So I like the chance to show you our gratitude on behalf of the whole tribe.
Mighty warriors, plural? So Paimon counts too? Paimon's starting to like you a lot.
That should go without saying. Your flying skills are the envy of our tribe.
The Flower Feather clan seems like a really nice bunch of people. We definitely need to take her up on this offer.
Well, I'd love to stay, but I'm afraid I still have to inform the other candidates about the retrials. With our younger generation's future on the line.
Wait, Elder Alpa! Let me help! The sooner everyone gets the news, the better!
Very well. In that case, Chaska, could I leave?
Sure thing.
Okay. Let's meet by the Obsidian Totem Pole later. Koyer, let's get going.
Okay.
Alright, they're out of earshot. I'm just gonna come out and ask that Kukasaur who responded to Koyer's call. That was your doing. I grew up with these creatures. I could tell something was off the second I saw it. His whole demeanor seemed less like a Kukasaur and more like, well, you. So I figure you must have been pulling the strings somehow. He looked very flustered when Koyer asked for a ride, so I whistled to give him a chance to escape. And judging by the look on your face, that was a welcome intervention, huh? It's all right. If you'd rather your hidden talents remain hidden, I respect that. I won't press you for answers, and I'll keep my speculations to myself. You're the kind of person I'd still trust even if you had superpowers. I know you'd use them for good. I think the ends justify the means in this case. She just lacked confidence, and you helped her resolve her internal conflict. If you hadn't intervened, I likely would have gotten my mom to help out instead. Although, having said that, there's a small chance she might have recognized her and seen through the whole thing. That would have done more harm than good. Yeah. Anyway, if you're free now, how about I give you that tour I promised?